what do you have available to you? Whether it's in-house or you're buying for the research, what you have or can get hold of will almost definitely have an impact on what you can achieve with your video recording. I would say that the three basic things you need to get by are a camera, obviously, not your phone, although very handy. It'll probably break all kinds of ethics and data protection laws that your research is bound by if you use your phone to record your research. Incidentally, if you're doing your research in your simulation centre, do you have an integrated camera system already that you use for your simulations? If so, why not look at using that? That way that saves you money in getting hold of a camera, or being reliant on a camera being available. It's just a thought to bear in mind. But yes, a camera is definitely top of the list when needing to record video. Yes, a means of editing your video within your work environment, as it's likely, again, data protection, that you may not be allowed to take your video recordings home with you and use them on your personal device. You may be able to. The likelihood is, in my experience, is that you're not allowed. So a means of editing within your work environment, a secure device, a machine, PC. From a basic point of view, the raw data from a camera, unedited, will be huge in file size. It will contain bits that aren't required at the beginning and at the end and the such. And also the raw file that you get off the camera is likely to be incompatible with many media players. Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's important. You need people and the people with the knowledge of what you need to do. So, a cameraman, if needed. So, your research may require you to be in the footage, in the recording. And if that's the case, then you need someone who can use the camera appropriately. Also, more importantly, someone who can edit the video and who is available when you need them. Sounds, like I said, it is simple, but it's something to bear in mind, the people who have the skills to do what you want to achieve. Okay, so what I mean by this is that if you're in clinical areas, both for the participant and of the patients in the area, you need to keep a level of dignity and discretion. The patient probably isn't in the best frame of mind because they're in hospital for one reason or another. And they're probably likely to be a bit more nervous considering you've just told them that you're going to be filming them in what could possibly be quite a vulnerable situation. With this in mind, it's probably best not to storm in with a big shoulder camera and a sound engineer with a boom mic, lighting kit and all the rest of it. That's probably not your best option to take. So be discreet, get better results. And my recommendations to do that are with the following couple of bits of kit. First of all, what we tend to use more often than not is this, just your basic, handheld camcorder. But you get a high definition video quality, good internal microphone for the sound, so you don't have to worry about audio. And it's very discreet and small. You can't really tell what I've got in my hand here. I can stand far away and just film in a corner and not be too intrusive. But you do get a level of control and you can get up close. But this is it's a very good camera. Nowadays nearly all the models are fantastic. They'll do what you need, and it's very good. And the other is taking that level of discretion a step further. And it is one of these. I don't know if you can see that very well, but most of you will be probably familiar with these now. They're growing in popularity hugely in all kinds of areas. It's a GoPro camera, and GoPro cameras were originally kind of favoured by extreme sports, so you could have something small but high quality to capture all those amazing things that they're doing. But in the past year or so, there's a huge growing popularity in research, simulation centres, etc. For these. The cost, again, I think maybe between £300 and £400 for the top model. There's different models, cheaper, and they're getting higher. And and what you get is a super high quality camera, but it's absolutely tiny. You can see that in the palm of my hand. It's incredibly small. Now, what you get with it also, well, you get a few things, but you get a nice little case with it. And once you pop that in the case, you don't lose any picture quality. And that also becomes incredibly durable. I mean, like I said, this was used for extreme sports. There's videos all over the internet of these being dropped by skydivers and things, and the camera is still working absolutely fine because this, very durable case, very good. You also get, you can get the option to buy some straps with these. You can strap them to your chest, so you can be hands-free. Strap them to your head to get a bit of a perspective from the eyes, and you can also get a device which kind of gives you the option to do a bit of a selfie video if you're in a position where you need to do that. And to go alongside this wonderful little camera, we tend to use one of these. Now, I know this looks a bit bizarre, but what it is essentially is a tripod. More specifically, they're called GorillaPods. And what these are, you can get them in various sizes and thickness, but this is a very small one. What these do, they're very flexible. Everything, the legs bend around and do whatever you want. And the purpose of this is to basically be versatile. You can put these in almost any position in whatever room you're in. For example, if my hand was a curtain rail or something like that, you can wrap the legs around it, and your camera will be on the end, like so. It fits various different cameras. It's got a standard tripod attachment, so you can fit a few different cameras to it. But your camera will be on the end, and you can pretty much get any position you want with this, and pop it anywhere you want. Which is great for clinical areas where you don't want to be too intrusive. You can just pop this up in the corner, down, anywhere you want, and so that's a GorillaPod, and they're very, very useful and extremely cheap. I mean, peanuts. Depending on your situation, depends on the camera. These two are very small, very handy, and with these tools, people around you probably won't even notice that filming is taking place. It's not intrusive for the patient involved, and you get a high quality result in the end, which is really important. If you know the environment you're going to be filming in beforehand, then think about where you want the camera. Don't waste time doing this when you arrive, as you may not have time. You'll rush a decision, and only afterwards, when it's too late, will you realise that you've got it all wrong. And more often than not, you won't be able to dictate the positioning of a patient, but if you can, if it's maybe a drop-in clinic and the patient is of relatively good health or mobile, then do everything you can to get the best results for your recording. So, anonymising footage, blurring faces or blurring patient details, etc. Now, this could be what gets your research approved or not, having the ability to anonymise the footage in post-production. Depending on the project, depends on the complexity of this, but understand that this is a skill that probably only someone with editing experience will be able to do, and even then, there is no guarantee they'll be able to do it to the precision that's needed. There are companies out there who specialise in this and charge lots and lots of money to do so. You may have to use one of these, and that's fine. It just isn't cheap. Unfortunately, I don't work for one of those companies. We just had to figure it out. And if, like our facility, you have an in-house team with these skills, then that's fantastic. And be sure to mention this when planning your research or for ethics approval, etc., etc. You'll immediately tick all the boxes for data protection, and at the same time you'll save yourselves a hell of a lot of money. This is also where I need to return to camera positioning. If face blurring, anonymisation, etc. is required for your video, then please, please, please think about the poor technician who has to sit through the video frame by frame, following someone's face around the camera. Although it may look great and look like Hollywood, please keep zooming and movement to a minimum. 3 seconds of side to side movement probably results in about 30 to 45 minutes of my time. You know, but if the research isn't affected as well, just put the camera behind the patient, over the shoulder. You know, that's pretty much self-anonymizing. Is the patient static? If they're staying still for the duration, then have a static camera. Don't use movement for movement's sake. It just makes life harder afterwards. If movement is needed, as it may well be, then that is absolutely fine. Just be appreciative that it's going to take a lot more time in the editing afterwards. A little tip for anyone who's doing the editing, or to pass on to the person that may be doing your editing, is that when you are anonymising a video, you're so wrapped up in what you're looking at, in the visual of looking for, blurring the faces, looking for patient details and getting them blurred out on the screen, that you often forget to listen. And more often than not, at the beginning of a video, the patient and the doctor or nurse or whoever will introduce themselves. And then throughout the video, the clinician will probably refer to the patient by their name numerous times. I've been there where I've spent hours editing a video, I've passed it on all happy, and then only to find that I've left about 30 mentions of the name in the video, so I've had to go back and go in and find those audio clips and delete it. So, don't just look at the footage, listen as well, and just delete those little clips of audio where names are mentioned. I'd like to show you some of our videos that we've done. Unfortunately, I can't really because, you guessed it, data protection. I mean, yes, they are anonymised, but they were purely for the purposes of that research. I can't really use them as a promotional tool, unfortunately. I believe we have found one that Jiv, or wherever he is, can show you. It's one of our older ones in our simulated theatre. It's early on in our days of anonymising. You can see that you get a big. What we used to do is a big square, ugly blur that used to jump around like this, wherever wherever the candidate went, and which is fine. If that's what you can do, that's what we used to do. We did that for a long time. There's no problem with that. It does the trick. Anything that does the trick works. But over time, we've developed our skills, and now I could probably get a job on a show like Cops or something, a nice round blur, smoothly tracking the face around. And we've even had the time recently to play with a new bit of software in Adobe After Effects, which does actually, you can do a bit of, you can put some information into the program and it does track the face very nicely, and it saves so much time. I can't stress how incredibly boring anonymising a video can be, but at the same time, it probably is one of the most effective and certainly cost-effective skills that our team has. Okay, so the last point is communication. And I'm saying this purely from a selfish point of view, and I'll probably get a couple of laughs from my colleagues in front of you. And it's both ways. I just mean communicate with your technician, your technical team, your editor, whoever it is you're going to involve from a technical point of view, and keep that two-way communication going throughout the project, and involve them as early as possible. Not because we want to be involved in every tiny little thing, but just let us know early on what your expectations are, what you're planning, what type of filming you're planning, what type of editing you want, how you want things to look, deadlines, especially important, especially when it comes to anonymising. We've been doing 60-minute videos, uninterrupted footage that need anonymising. That's 60 minutes of real-time, frame by frame. You're talking hours of editing for one video. So get your deadline, sure your deadlines are clear, and we'll do our best to meet them. But also, we might be able to help. We can let you know what equipment we've got. We can let you know what skills we have that can help. We might surprise you. We might have a couple of ideas. But yeah, basically, it's just to make things easier. For you, for us, and the end product, the video, the research will benefit from it as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've probably, when I look back, been rambling on and on and on. But they're pretty much a lot of the solutions, the tips that we've picked up over time that I think would benefit other people when taking on projects like this. Obviously, you'll be speaking to the wonderful people in front of you. If you've got any questions or anything, but please feel free to drop me an email if you've got any technical questions, or you've got technical colleagues back at your facility that you think it would be helpful if they got in touch. I'll be more than happy to offer any advice that I or my team can. But apart from that, thank you very much for listening, and I'll hand you back over. One more thing to do is a bit of selfless promotion.